Hello, beautiful soul beings, and welcome back to my channel, Soul Journey. My name is Beck. Today, we are going to be talking about something that I have talked to my soul family about a little bit, but I haven't really put it into a video, and so I thought I'd talk about that today. Today, we're going to be talking about the concept of when we say the universe has a plan, or I'm trusting the universe. It inherently implies that the universe is separate from us. So today we're going to be talking a little bit about that. And if you like this video, definitely give it a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future, and share it with your friends if you found it helpful. All right, let's get into it. So I wanted to talk about this because recently I put up a video about words in the new words for the 5D, fifth dimension. And as we move into higher consciousness, the way we speak, because our thoughts and what we speak create our reality, is going to have to shift. And what we speak defines how we see our reality, our planet, our lives. And so there's a common term, like trust the universe, the universe is taking care of me, blah, blah, blah. And being someone who was raised in a religion, I was always told, trust God, God will take care of it. God has a plan, so forth. And I noticed as I step into my empowerment as a creator being, oftentimes we use the universe as a little bit of a scapegoat for us taking action in our own lives. Now, what's interesting about this is, as we know, when we create, there has to be a balance of putting your intention out and then just letting it come to you. And oftentimes that's what we call trusting the universe. But I wanted to talk about how these terms can sometimes put the power outside of us, not really honoring the fact that our reality is a reflection of us, that it's only a reflection of us. And yes, there's a greater consciousness or collective consciousness that is co-creating, but it only feels like it's co-creating, that there's an other, when you see yourself as separate, right? And so I was talking to one of my soul family about, creating and, trusting and all of that. And oftentimes when I talk to my clients / soul family, there is a little bit of I'm going to take a back seat to the creation of my reality because I'm going to trust the universe, right? We hear that a lot. And I offered them a bit of a change of perspective in a more empowered creator space of realizing the universe is you, right? The universe is, we are an expression of the greater universe. We are the universe. Our higher self is us. The universe is us. And so I offered her the opportunity to change out the words and say, instead of I trust the universe, I trust myself. I have a plan. I trust my plan. And that kind of comes into my feeling and my belief on that we create, not only create our reality, but we determine, once we pass on from one life, we then, kind of set the game board with other seemingly separate souls, what our next life is going to look like, or rather, our 3D words are so interesting. The next life we're going to experience. And we create kind of a game board, and then we go down and we play it out for our highest expansion and our greatest good, and for our soul expansion. But when we step outside of our personal soul expansion, when we talk about how we are, on the cutting edge of consciousness because we are helping universal consciousness, collective consciousness expand with our personal expansion. And the best way this universe has decided to do that is with the law of mirroring. So to know itself, it separates itself so that we can look at ourselves and grow and expand. And that's why we're in this game of many souls and experiencing each other from different perspectives. And so within that, we do have an experience of separateness, and it is totally valid. It is what's happening. Um, because instead of it being either or, we can have both and, right? Depending on what level of consciousness you're sitting in, your reality may be that we're all one, that we're separate, that we're both. And it isn't until we see that, use both and consciousness and seeing that the separateness and the oneness are both valid, that we can't really see the bigger picture. And so I just wanted to bring that empowerment space in. Now, that might feel scary to some people because living life when the responsibility is someone else to like guide our path can feel a little safer. And I feel like that's how like religious gods were created, right? People felt out of control. They didn't understand that they create their reality, that the reality is a mirror. And so they wanted God to direct their lives and create laws for them so that they wouldn't have to, take responsibility for their own soul expansion, their own soul journey. And that can be a very tempting space to be in. But it also, in the long run, can be disempowering if you're not actively working on your own soul expansion and your own path. It can be a little bit of a cop out. And so I want to just like say that like you can have a little bit of both, right? Because we can, again, both and consciousness, both and way of perceiving things, because ultimately we do have a limited perspective in this personal perspective that we are in. It's not that this isn't real, this is totally real. And our higher self has a bigger picture. It can see, the road better. It has a more expansive roadmap. And then collective consciousness, the greater universe, has an even bigger roadmap, but it doesn't mean that it inherently knows better. It just has more information to create, to calculate what's going on essentially. And consciousness is still learning all the time. We wouldn't be here expanding and growing if consciousness knew everything. Yes, it knows a vast amount more than we do in this limited consciousness, but it is still learning and experiencing, and we are a part of that. Our being able to create our realities and know what we want and grow as conscious beings is growing universal consciousness. So I just wanted to offer that perspective that sometimes when we use that concept of, I'm trusting the universe, the universe will send me what I need, and we kind of sit back and just let it happen without specific intention, because of course the universe can only send us what vibration we're holding, and it can only reflect back to us, where we're at. So if we are in a taking a back seat kind of vibration, if we're taking a passive stance in the creation of our reality is going to feel lackluster, and it's not going to necessarily be fully what we desire and what we want to create. So it's important to understand that the universe is us, and we're creating with ourselves. So tell yourself what you want. Get real and get honest and get authentic about what you want, and talk to yourself about it. And I feel like in some ways this kind of brings the whole like universe a little closer to home, because oftentimes when we work with deity, or we work with spirit, or the universe knows everything, it can feel limiting. It can feel like separate, that we're not good enough, that we don't deserve love. But when we step into a space of going, oh, the universe is me, and I have my best interest at heart, everything opens up, because we don't have to, convince a greater being that we're worthy of it. We can just say, this is what I want, and I'm going to make it happen as myself, as the greater universe. And I think that is really, really cool and very empowering. But if you haven't thought of it this way, it can feel, I think, a little daunting at first, because all of a sudden there are no safety nets, there are no training wheels, and you're like, wait, I'm in control? Like, I have to make decisions? It's like, yeah, you're a creator here on this planet, in this universe. Your experience is opening up consciousness, so engage with it and become a conscious, active creator in your reality. And then as you are creating, just like when you bake a cake, you stick it in the oven, you created it, you put it together, you utilize your tools, you put it together and you put it in the oven, and then you let the oven let it cook, you know, create the cooking process, which is kind of like the universe taking care of it. And you don't have to worry, you know, I mean, cakes are, you know, finite, but most of the time, if you've made the recipe right, if you've gotten in the right frequency, if you've, you know, created the right, you know, if you put together the right recipe, you don't have to worry that the cake isn't going to come out right. You know, you put it in for a certain amount of time, you let it cook, you let it bake, and then it comes to you as a cake. And so you've put in the ingredients and the universe bakes it for you. So kind of like it helps finish the process. So that's kind of what it is. So imagine if, you know, you turn on the oven, it's your oven, it's baking for you. And so you ultimately created that cake, but you allowed the universe oven to manifest it for you as a team. You're your own team in creating your reality. So I just wanted to offer that perspective. I feel like as we move into the 5D, we're going to explore more and more and more what it means to be a conscious creative being and what it means to trust the creative process. And trust doesn't mean you have to hand it off to someone else. It just means that you can trust in the laws of the universe, of yourself, to create the reality you want. And ultimately, I feel like that is really, really empowering once you really step in and like take that on as a really like, if you own that piece. So anyway, that was today's video. It's something I've been thinking about, something I really want to embody, and getting clear on, yeah, what it means to be a conscious creator, not only on this planet, but as the collective and in the greater universe and on other planets, just those laws of the collective conscious, the, you know, universal consciousness. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down in the comments with love. And if you like this video, definitely give it a like and hit subscribe if you want to see more videos like this in the future. I do energy readings for the collective every Friday, and then I try to post other videos on working with spirit, collective consciousness, shadow work, self-love, sustainable living, veganism, my plant collection, all the things. And if this was helpful for you and you feel like this could help someone else, please give it a share. That's really helpful, not only for me and my channel, but the point of this message is that it can go out to collective consciousness, and the more consciousness as a whole can like take on these concepts, the faster our evolution will go and the faster we will shift into a world that feels good and compassionate and loving and connected. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to check out my other social media links, the links to that are in the description down below, along with my Etsy shop, where I do offer personal readings if that interests you. So go check that out. I also have other soul journey tools down there as well. So thank you so much for watching. Many blessings. Namaste. And don't forget, it is all about the soul journey.